What if the person you love the most is hiding a secret? And what if you found out by spying on them? Today, you're about to hear the story of a wealthy American businessman who did exactly that, and what happened next will make you question whether trust is ever enough in a relationship. Stay with me until the end, because in the final part, you'll discover the shocking twist no one could have predicted. Jack Morgan sat in his sleek Chicago office, but his mind was far from business. His fiancée, Dr. Emily Carter, was one of the top surgeons at St. Mary's Hospital, smart, beautiful, confident. And lately, too distant in Jack's view. Jealousy was eating him alive. Jack wasn't used to being ignored, especially by someone he planned to marry. He wanted control. He needed to know what Emily was doing when she stayed late at the hospital, who she talked to, why she never let him pick her up from work. The thought of her laughing with another doctor or hiding something from him made Jack furious. He wasn't even sure she was doing anything wrong, but that didn't matter. His head was already full of worst-case scenarios. So Jack came up with a plan. A dirty one. He would test Emily, not with words, but by sending someone into her world, a spy she wouldn't notice. Someone unimportant. Invisible. Someone who owed him. Then he remembered the perfect person. Travis. A homeless man Jack had once bailed out of county jail. Travis owed him big time. And Jack knew exactly how to cash in on that debt. "You'll fake stomach issues and go to the hospital," Jack told Travis the next day, tossing him a worn backpack. "Say you're sick. Let her treat you. Watch her. Tell me everything she does and everyone she talks to." Travis hesitated. He didn't like lying, especially to a doctor who was just doing her job. But he didn't have a choice. Jack had saved him from jail. He was stuck. So he nodded slowly. "Okay, I'll do it." And that's how it began, a rich man spying on the woman he claimed to love, using a desperate man as the bait. Do you want to hear what happened next? Travis stood outside St. Mary's Hospital in downtown Chicago, his clothes old and dirty, stomach empty, and heart pounding. Jack had given him clear instructions. Act sick, act sad, act like you've got nowhere else to go. Emily would help him. She always helped people. Inside the hospital, nurses stared as he shuffled toward the front desk. "My stomach, it burns," he groaned, hand on his belly. "Haven't eaten right in days." The nurse looked uncomfortable, ready to call security, until a calm voice interrupted. "Let him stay. I'll take care of him." It was Dr. Emily Carter. She led Travis to her office, offered him water, and began to ask gentle questions. She checked his pulse, his eyes, his reflexes. Her tone was steady, kind. Meanwhile, Travis felt something he didn't expect. Guilt. Real guilt. She didn't know he was lying. She didn't know he was spying. As Emily examined him, Travis noticed the small things Jack never saw: a photo of Emily and her parents at a lake, a stack of medical books filled with bookmarks, a pile of soft blankets she kept for children who came in scared. She wasn't hiding anything. She was just good. Every bit as good as people said. After the exam, Emily said, "You're dehydrated and undernourished. I'll admit you for observation. You need rest and proper meals. We'll get you checked for ulcers or stomach damage, okay?" Travis nodded, but inside his chest, panic. Jack didn't want medical care. Jack wanted secrets. That night, in a quiet hospital room, Travis dialed the number Jack gave him. She's real," Travis began hesitantly. "She's kind. She treats everyone like family. I didn't see anything weird. Just a good doctor." But that wasn't enough for Jack. "I need more. I want to know what she talks about when no one's looking. Go deeper. Find something." "Everyone hides something, Travis." Travis stared at the hospital ceiling, feeling the weight of those words. And that's when everything started to fall apart. The next morning, Travis woke up in his hospital bed feeling more like a fraud than a patient. Real people lay in the beds around him: an elderly man with heart problems, a teenager recovering from surgery, a woman fighting cancer. They were all honest. Travis was the only one pretending. But Jack didn't care about that. He called again. "Find out who she talks to when she thinks no one's listening," he ordered. and check her personal space. Her office, her files, whatever she's hiding. Travis swallowed hard. He knew how wrong it was, but fear kept him in place. He owed Jack. He didn't want to go back to jail. So, when Emily stepped out to do rounds, he slipped out of his room and headed toward her office. Heart racing, he pushed the door open. Inside, medical journals, sticky notes with surgery schedules, a plant by the window, 2 framed photos, one of her parents and one of her and a young girl in a wheelchair. Nothing shady, nothing suspicious. Then Travis saw it, a folder labeled with Emily's full name. He hesitated, then pulled it open. Inside was her personal medical record. Not for patients, for herself. And that's when Travis's jaw dropped. Emily had a serious, life-threatening health condition. One she had been hiding, not because she was cheating or being unfaithful, but because she was fighting to stay alive long enough to finish a risky experimental treatment. She wasn't lying to Jack. She was protecting him. Just then, the door opened. Emily walked in and froze, staring at Travis, her private folder in his hands. Her voice was calm, but her eyes were full of hurt. "Why are you in here, Travis? Who sent you? You're not sick, are you?" Travis felt his world collapse. He couldn't lie anymore. "I'm sorry," he whispered. "I was sent here to watch you. To report on you. By Jack Morgan." Emily's face went pale. You could hear the sound of her broken trust in that quiet room. "You should go back to your room," she said softly. "I'll decide what to do next." Travis walked out, ashamed, terrified, and knowing something Jack did not. Jack wasn't about to expose Emily. Emily was about to expose him. Later that evening, Emily sat alone in her office, staring at the wall. Everything she'd been keeping to herself, her health, her fear, her hope for a future, had been betrayed by the man she thought she loved. She picked up her phone and dialed Jack. "We need to talk. Tonight." Jack showed up at her apartment smiling, acting as if nothing was wrong. But his smile faded when he saw her expression calm, focused, but with a fire in her eyes he'd never seen before. "Why did you send a fake patient to spy on me?" she asked quietly. Jack tried to deflect. "Emily, you've been distant. I needed to know if you were hiding something." "I wasn't hiding anything from you," she replied. "At least, nothing that was your business yet." She took a breath. "I've been sick, Jack. And I didn't tell you because I wanted to make sure I survived long enough to marry you." It felt like the air was sucked out of the room. "I've been in a clinical trial. And yes, I've been tired and later for things. But I wasn't cheating. I was fighting for my life." Jack didn't speak. He looked shocked, but not sorry. "You should have told me," he said finally. "I deserve to know." Emily shook her head. "No, Jack. Trust is earned. And you chose to spy on me before even asking." She stood up, lifting the folder Travis had found in her office. "You didn't care if I was innocent. You were ready to catch me doing something wrong. That's not love. That's control." Jack stepped toward her, but she stepped back. "This is over," Emily said, voice firm. "You don't get to be part of my fight or my future. Not anymore." Jack tried one last argument, but Emily was done. The wedding was canceled the next morning. And Travis? He stayed in the hospital. Emily insisted he finish real treatment and get proper support for starting over, something Jack had only pretended to offer. For the first time in a long time, Travis felt hope. And Emily? She was finally free. 2 months later, Emily was finishing her final week of treatment. She was weaker, yes, but alive. And with every passing day, her strength was returning. News of the broken engagement had spread quietly but fast through the hospital. Most people didn't know the real reason behind it. They just assumed the rich fiancé and the humble surgeon didn't work out. But one person knew everything, Travis. Now clean-shaven, wearing a donated shirt, and on a real path to recovery, Travis often stopped by Emily's office to say hello, not as a spy, but as a patient who'd been given a second chance. One afternoon, as he thanked her again for not kicking him out that day, Emily smiled and said something simple, but powerful. "People aren't disposable, Travis. Not even when they make mistakes." He nodded. and then handed her something she wasn't expecting, a sealed envelope with Jack's name on the front. "What's this?" Emily asked. "A confession," Travis said. "I wrote everything down, from the day he sent me to the hospital until now. If he ever tries to hurt you or ruin your name, you open that." Emily held the envelope, feeling the weight of loyalty and redemption. Meanwhile, Jack Morgan wasn't doing well. His businesses were struggling. Investors were pulling out. Word had gotten around that he broke off an engagement because of trust issues, and someone close to him had leaked rumors that he had hired people to dig through private lives, rumors that might have been true. Jack had controlled everything in his world, except consequences. And that's the lesson most people missed. When you treat trust like a game, you don't just lose love. You lose respect, and sometimes everything built on it. Emily kept working, helping patients, living her life with a new understanding of her own strength. And Travis? He got a part-time job at the hospital, not as a spy, but as a patient care assistant. The one thing he knew how to offer now was honesty.